You know that feeling, right? That little nagging sense that you need something more, even when you've just like achieved something big.
Hmm.
Or maybe it's just this background hum of restlessness, where things feel okay, but not really satisfying for long. It's actually, well, it seems incredibly common.
It really is that
Yeah.
kind of perpetual discontent.
Yeah.
Like there's this void that needs filling. So many people feel that, and often they don't quite get why.
Exactly. And that's what we're diving into today. We're calling it the insatiable mind, and we want to get to the roots of why we feel dissatisfied so often.
Yeah.
We've dug into some really compelling sources, trying to shed some light on why our minds just seem wired to always want the next thing.
And our goal here, our mission, is to sort of unpack the reasons behind it, emotional, psychological, maybe even biological.
Right.
And then importantly, look at some practical things, some actual strategies you can maybe use to find a bit more peace, a bit more satisfaction day to day.
Bringing up is high expectations, or even outright perfectionism. That tendency to set the bar just impossibly high for yourself or for life in general.
Right. And what's really interesting there is even when you do hit a goal, that feeling of enough,
Hmm.
it's slippery. It's hard to grasp.
Yeah.
Your mind instantly jumps ahead. What's next?
Mhm.
It's not just being ambitious. It's almost like this treadmill. The finish line keeps moving back.
That makes so much sense. It's like you finish the race, but before you even catch your breath, someone's moved the goalposts further away.
Exactly.
And you see it pop up in familiar ways, don't you? Like nothing feels good for long. Or constantly comparing yourself to others.
Yeah, we're focusing only on the flaws, the mistakes,
Mhm.
instead of actually acknowledging, hey, I made progress here.
Right, right.
And tied into that often is another big factor,
Mm.
a lack of real purpose or direction.
Oh,
When you don't have that clear why, that guiding star, this kind of void can open up. And even big achievements, big successes, they just don't fill it.
that idea of an empty achievement. Wow, how does that work psychologically? Achieving something big but feeling nothing.
Well, it's a bit like imagine a ship that's moving really fast, looks impressive,
Hmm.
maybe,
Okay.
but it doesn't have a rudder, no destination set. So the journey itself starts to feel meaningless, even if you're covering ground.
Got it.
So you achieve things, maybe things others admire, but inside it feels hollow. And that leaves you with that restlessness, like something crucial is just missing.
Okay, and this next one feels particularly, well, relevant and maybe a bit concerning for, life today.
Well,
Dopamine, the brain's reward system.
yes, the dopamine craving. Our brains are essentially wired for novelty, for reward.
Right.
And modern life is full of quick hits, social media notifications, fast videos, even just ticking off a small task. Each one gives you a little dopamine squirt.
Feels good for a second.
Exactly. But the sources suggest this constant stream trains our brain to expect those rapid, short-lived rewards. It makes it harder then to find real, lasting satisfaction in things that are, slower, deeper, things that take time.
So you chase the next hit because the last one faded so fast.
Hmm.
That explains why you might get bored really quickly after finishing something, or why you're always kind of scanning for the next new thing to feel okay. It's a chase.
It absolutely is a
Yeah.
perpetual chase. And then digging a bit deeper, there are often unresolved emotional issues at play, things simmering beneath the surface.
Like what kind of things?
Well, unprocessed grief,
Yeah.
maybe difficult childhood experiences that weren't dealt with, or even just chronic underlying stress.
Yeah.
These can create this deep internal emptiness.
An emptiness you might not even be consciously aware of.
Precisely. And it manifests as that constant dissatisfaction.
Mhm.
You keep looking outside yourself for things, for achievements, for relationships to fix an internal discomfort that's actually rooted in that old emotional pain.
Like trying to fill a leaky bucket, you said.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. And sometimes it goes beyond emotional struggles. The research also points to underlying mental health conditions. These can make feeling content incredibly difficult.
Can you give an example? How might a specific condition block that feeling of satisfaction?
Sure. Take anxiety, for instance. It's not just worrying. It can be
Yeah.
like your brain is constantly buzzing, racing thoughts, fixated on future fears. It's hard for contentment to even register in that state.
Right.
Or with depression, it can literally numb your ability to feel pleasure. Good things happen, but they feel flat, gray. And something like OCD can trap you in loops of behavior that bring zero actual peace. The brain's wiring is just, well, it's impacted.
So the symptoms could be anything from racing thoughts and worry to feeling numb, hopeless, just persistently unhappy. That's a whole different category.
Definitely. And then finally, there's this huge external factor, society's pressure.
Ah, the keeping up with the Joneses effect,
Yeah.
amplified.
Kind of, yeah. Modern life pushes this narrative relentlessly. Strive for more success, more money, more status, even more happiness. It sort of programs us into this never-ending cycle of wanting.
It's like we're taught, subtly or not so subtly, that the next thing, the next buy, the next promotion, the next relationship, that's the thing that will finally make us happy.
Exactly. But it just keeps the hamster wheel spinning. You're always looking outside for validation, which makes it really hard to just find peace with what you already have.
Wow. So putting it all together, this insatiable mind isn't just one simple thing. It's this complex mix of our biology, our personal history, our environment.
It is complex.
Yeah.
And hearing all that laid out, it might even feel a bit daunting, thinking about all these things driving dissatisfaction.
Yeah, it could. But here's the hopeful part, right? The sources we looked at, they don't just diagnose the problem. They offer real, concrete ways to start cultivating more peace, more satisfaction.
That's the crucial next step. Okay, our minds might be wired this way or pushed this way, but what can we actually do about it?
So what's strategy number one?
Well, one that comes up again and again, sounds simple, but is apparently really powerful. Practicing gratitude daily.
Gratitude.
It's not just, feeling vaguely thankful. It's about actively countering that brain bias towards focusing on what's missing. The suggestion is often simple. Just write down, say, 3 things you're grateful for each day, morning or night. It can genuinely start to shift your perspective.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Shifting focus from lack to appreciation. And you mentioned presence earlier. What about things like meditation or mindfulness?
Yes, those are key too. These practices essentially train your brain to be calmer, to be more here in the present moment.
Instead of lost or thought.
Exactly. Instead of always chasing the next thing in your head or dwelling on the past or worrying about the future, you learn to just be in the now and appreciate it. It's like building a mental muscle for presence.
Okay. Now, this next one feels different, given our drive for more. The sources talk about setting enough goals. What does that mean? How does defining enough help?
It's a fundamental mindset shift. It means consciously deciding for yourself what enough actually looks like in your career, financially, maybe even with your free time.
So not just chasing endlessly.
Right. It's about setting realistic, meaningful benchmarks that actually represent contentment for you, rather than some external standard of more, more, more.
Right.
It's about defining your own finish line, in a way. It's not about giving up. It's about choosing satisfaction.
That's a powerful reframe. And thinking back to those deeper roots, those unresolved emotional issues, what's the advice there?
Well, sometimes you need help unpacking that. So talking to someone, a counselor, a therapist, is often highlighted as really valuable.
Getting professional help.
Yeah. It provides a safe space to actually explore and work through those underlying reasons for the discontent. They can help you untangle some of that old emotional pain that might be fueling the restlessness you feel today.
Makes sense. And the last practical step feels almost freeing. Simplify.
Declutter your life, basically. The sources suggest actively removing things, and sometimes even commitments or relationships that just drain your mental energy and peace.
Like Marie Kondo for your mind.
Sort of. You often don't realize how much headspace is taken up by things that don't actually contribute to your well-being. Simplifying lets you create more room, more space for contentment to actually grow. It's about letting go of the noise.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground. This feeling of being insatiable, it can come from so many places, our own high expectations, maybe a lack of purpose, that dopamine loop we get caught in, old emotional stuff, mental health challenges, even just the pressure of the world around us.
Complex picture.
But the encouraging thing is there are also real practical strategies we can use. Gratitude, mindfulness, defining what enough means for us, getting help when we need it, and simplifying our lives.
And understanding the why behind the feeling, understanding those roots, that really is the first crucial step towards feeling more satisfied, more at peace.
It's less about getting more and more about redefining what matters.
Exactly. Shifting from just accumulating to actually appreciating, healing.
So here's something for you to think about. If satisfaction isn't really about getting more stuff or hitting more goals, but it's about redefining enough and maybe healing what's going on inside. What's just one small step, maybe something tiny, you could take today to start shifting your own focus away from that constant craving and towards cultivating a little more contentment?